First, if your class has been taught for the last few terms continuously, you may not need to do a lot of setup. For instance, in this History 203 class, if you see this course outcomes assessment process module and the course outcomes assessment process click to start assignment, it might already be set up for you. So if this is the case, just be sure and check and make sure your outcomes are correct. And when we get to the scoring, you can follow through how to follow along with how to do that. You don't have to worry about setting up your rubric in this class. So if your class has never been set up before, or you redesigned it, or it's just a new class, the first thing you're going to do is go to the Commons. For the outcomes to our course. On the instructions, I listed out the different subjects that might be under each set of outcomes. But still, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. And you can also click on one of these. We're going to go to math. And click on details. And you should be able to, whatever. You should be able to see which subject areas are in there. Try different one. So the other import includes outcomes for art, biology, blah, 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 blah. We're going to go ahead and do math. I always use that for an example. Click on the outcome assessment import, and then click download. And what this does is it will bring over your outcomes and that assignment module. But it doesn't set it up for you. It doesn't set up your rubric for you. So then click on example course. Because of the class we're looking at as an example, right? If you have more than one class that you're teaching and they happen to fall under the same area, go ahead and click all of those. You don't have to come back and do this for each one. So that's going to take just a minute or two. We'll go back to your course. And wait for it. You should see the unpublished course outcome assessment process and the published course outcome assessment process for the start assignment. Students will see this, and once you have the assignments link available, they have to click on that, but it won't hurt anything. Go ahead and click on the course outcome assessment process, click the start assignment. Or just follow along if you're following along. And there are a few links here that will be helpful. You can access your CCOG through the first link. We'll open that up in any tab. There's the rubric for scoring if you need that. And also my playlist of video instructions. And finally, the last step on the written instructions is to complete the narrative responses. So just be sure and don't skip that. And that's through a Microsoft form. First thing we're going to do is grab our CCOG. One of the things that happened this term is that we introduced the common course numbering outcomes. So if you're teaching a math class, like Math 111, Math 105, you'll need to go through the process of importing and creating the rubric over again, because the outcomes are different. That also applies to some common classes and writing. Most of these are labeled, so they have skill 1, skill 2, 3, 4, 5. To go back to your course. And to set up our rubric for scoring, we're going to click on plus rubric down the bottom. Delete this example criteria. Won't hurt anything if you leave it there, but it's annoying for yourself. Click find outcome. And you can see all the outcomes that were imported with that import, but we just want math all of them. And for each outcome, click on it. Scroll down, click import. You cannot import all 5 of them once. The other thing we'll need from here is your I think we just need the math PLOG. One. Yeah, those are kind of labeled on the PCOG. I added VLO, MTH to kind of distinguish between things within Canvas. The last thing is to add the ILOs. We just need ILOs for this one. And very important, be sure and click create rubric rather than clicking on speed reader first. Otherwise it'll go away. So once you're done setting up your rubric, speed reader. And so this is the point where if you already have your rubric set up, like in the history 203 class, this is the point where you jump in and start working. The new rubric for each student. And then click and drag this bar so you can see the whole thing. And then go ahead and score. Which is the easy part. And again, you can use the rubric for institutional rating outcomes to help you determine your ratings. A lot of people rate them based on grade. A couple of people have kind of an elaborate process for determining ratings. Then scoring, go ahead and click save. Again, if you don't click save, move on to the next person, you'll lose your scores. If you decide you need to edit, you can click view rubric again. Edit your scores. Again, move on to the next person. That's it for scoring. The last step in the process is to complete the narrative responses. And you just go back to the, if you are out in the community somewhere in terms of tabs, go back to your course. Click on the, click on the separate process assignment again. And then choose that last link that says submit this survey. Double check and make sure I don't have to add summary to the survey. Or summarize. And that's pretty straightforward. These are just narrative responses and talking about how the course went. Any questions?